Hey, what's going on, guys? Swarzy here. Today we'll be going over another Alpha Sharks overview. Today we are inside our own Discord, so we'll be going over some of the view portion and going over some of the trading view portion as well. So we're going to give it a few minutes for some people to jump in here and we'll get started. All right. Welcome those watching on Twitch and Twitter and outside of the Discord. We are actually going over an Alpha Sharks view overview today. Should be really interesting. We do have some neat little features that we're going to go over within the view and trading itself. So if anybody has any questions, definitely do not be afraid to drop them in the Educator chat, and I can pop them up on screen for you. NFT, what's up? All right, so let's actually just jump right into it. In the Discord, if you guys can give me the thumbs up, we can see my screen and I'm not frozen. That'd be awesome. We should be good. I think I'm good on my screen. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Appreciate it. All right. So one of the first things we like to go into the Alpha Sharks tool. I like to go into the trending page, and one of my main things is to look at overall volume. I like to see what's being traded the most, where I'd like to see, quote unquote, where the major demand actually is within the bigger time frame. So right here we can see we're actually pointed on the 24-hour time frame, and one of the main things I'm looking at is this main column right here, which is volume. And I'm going to break it down into a few different portions. So the first one, the way we filter this, it's automatically filtered by highest sales count. So you'll notice if you actually go to 24-hour or any of the time frames that you put, it'll automatically be filtered by sales. We are looking for something where we actually have another page where we're able to filter out other projects as well, based on your volume, floor, sales, and all that. So we do have something upcoming that's going to be very interesting. But nonetheless, one of the main reasons we do like to look at the volume, again, it boils down to the amount of demand that's actually coming in. So right here we can see LNRW has 443 ETH volume traded on the day. That's quite a bit. Usually we're seeing triple digit ETH volume is pretty solid size. But let's go right beneath that, and we have Poobs NFT with 293 volume ETH traded, which is right below that LNRW. So it's kind of telling us, hey, LNRW might have a bit more demand coming in, or this could also be some wash trading kind of going on as well, because we do happen to see that a lot with the ENS type names, projects for sure. Another one that's kind of popping out right here is this Kitaro, 790 ETH traded. That's quite a bit of ETH traded. And notice we have 4 transactions going on. And let's also notice another thing right here. Our next blue chip percentage. We actually have a blue chip right here, which is actually going to indicate that there's at least 10% NBCP within this project. Meaning there's a next blue chip probability of 10.1% through the holders that are actually in Kitaro itself. So let's actually take a look to see who's inside of Kitaro, just because this is one of the only ones with the blue chip percentage posted right next to it, at least on the 24-hour time frame that we're looking at. So we can see Proof Collective, they hold 4. Goblin, 99 of them hold about 302 cumulative. Mutant Apes, there's about 70 wallets that own about 319. Bored Ape Kennel Club, about 29 wallets that own about 136. Cool Cats, Meebits, Clonex, Suzuki, Gutter Cat Gang, Moonbirds, Invisible Friends. So we can see there's quite a bit of blue chip projects that are within the project itself. And again, this is one of the main metrics that we do like to look for overall swing trades, because again, this is not only showing a technical indication that there's eyes on this actual project, but any potential news catalyst, you're going to see there's just a higher probability of demand coming in off of the news catalyst. So if there's some type of news or again catalyst event that Kitaro can actually have, it's a higher probability that they get more demand coming in to their actual project itself. Um, so I think that this might be one that we're going to be checking out because of, again, the volume traded. It kind of obliterates everything else on the list. Pretty much doubles LNRW, doubles the one right below it. You can see that's pretty much our pinnacle of the day. Let's see if we can scroll down and see anything else that's triple digit ETH traded. Angry Cat with 100. Ranga. Ooh, see, this is why we scroll down right here. That's really interesting. To see Ranga with 1100 ETH traded in 24 hours, that's high demand coming in. This is something that we've seen pop up multiple times in the last few of our streams as well. So we can see Rank is actually getting consistent volume over time. It's actually just a higher priced NFT as of right now, but I believe it's just trending. And notice it's actually one of the only other ones that has a double NBCP chip right next to it as well. So what the double NBCP is going to solidify is it's going to show the projects that have over 20% NBCP. So right here we can see we have 32.3% NBCP on Renga. This is definitely something to keep an eye on because again, the higher the NBCP, the more likely that is potential to become an actual blue chip itself due to the holders that are actually holding it. So good. Yeah, so MBCP is going to be next blue chip probability. And basically how that's calculated is we take blue chip projects that are considered blue chips and we take a mean from the total collective, meaning how many wallets they have and how many NFTs they're holding of the project. And then we take an overall mean of that and it gives us a total percentage. And basically what it means is the higher the percentage, the more blue chip projects that are inside your project. The lower the percentage, the less blue chip projects that are inside your project. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, no worries. Good question. But yeah, that's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. So like if we pop up Ranga, we can pull up on the right side our notable holders. And again, you can take a look at who's actually in the project and how many they actually hold. So ideally, again, just like with our unique holders, we kind of want lots of wallets and lots of holdings because what that's indicating is that there's a lot more people and a lot more wallets holding more NFTs, meaning there's quite a bit more demand at that point, as opposed to seeing, let's say, like one wallet with 1,000 NFTs. That would be a little less bullish at that point. But we can see there's pretty nice distribution going on here, which I think is why you're actually getting the volume coming in as well. But nonetheless, it's a nice breakdown that we had. Jumping right into the 24-hour. After that, I like going into the 1 hour, and then I like to see pretty much doing the same breakdown. I like to look at the volume and checking out if I can see some of the same projects that we've seen on the 24-hour time frame. Because what that would be telling me is that if we're trending on the 24-hour and we're trending here on the 1 hour, it's telling us that there's multiple correlations of demand coming in at that zone. And this is kind of how we narrow down kind of what's in play at the moment and what's not. So notice, remember, LNRW was one of our first ones on the list. We can actually see it popped up as the third project here on the 1 hour. Notice Kitaro as well. And we also have Ranga down here. And again, let's go through the volume ETH traded and see again what's kind of standing out. And I hope we can all kind of notice the elephant in the room right here, which is going to be Kataro, almost pushing triple digit ETH volume in 1 hour, which is pretty insane. Also, you have Ranga right here, which has already pushed the triple digit ETH volume traded, which is again showing us that there's major demand coming into these projects at this time frame. So really interesting to see. Going to scroll down again to see if we see anything a little interesting. And everything here is kind of single digit ETH traded, so I'm not really interested in that. So yeah, I think we kind of have our top three that we're kind of looking at. Lineage, Kataro, Ranga, and this Poobs NFT popped up on the daily as well. So it's going to something like a 15-minute. And again, we can see the ones that are kind of just popped out right into our face. So Poobs NFT, Kataro, Lineage, and Ranga. Just based off the ETH volume traded. Again, this one not looking too crazy. So again, kind of breaking it down by the main volume traded. So these are going to be the ones that I'm actually mainly concerned with. Right here. So these three projects have actually popped up. Oops, that moved. These three projects have actually popped up on all time frames that we've just looked at, and we can see that they have the most volume traded across all the time frames. So not only on the 15, not only on the 1 hour, and not only on the day, but if we zoom in, it'll probably be the same thing. So Ranga with 40 ETH traded, and Katara with just pushing that as well. I'm going to go into Kataro because it's a lower floor price, meaning there's probably more likely for sales to come in. So we're going to jump into Kataro. I want to ask, is anybody in Kataro? Did my thing freeze? One sec. There you go. All right. So we're on Kataro. Jesus. All right. Let's see when this thing was released. A few days ago. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm basically on the trading view portion, and what I'm doing is I'm changing the time frames to see where this project was released, and looking for just the overall big picture and to see where we're at within the actual cycle right now. And looks like this dropped back in September, or at least that's like the last data that we're seeing. So this definitely has some weight to it. One of the things we do like to draw over time is kind of a trend line. And what we're seeing here is we just pretty much had a break of our last highs. Let's see if we can pop this up here. So you can see our trend line down here. We actually broke it. What's today? The 3rd, about 2 days ago. And notice we actually see our volume starting to increase over time. Not by much, but we are starting to get the average of our volume starting to increase over time, which is again something that we do like to look at, because again this is pretty much showing us demand over time. And throughout the last hours, we can see we've pretty much just been trending to the upside, not breaking lower lows and holding these higher highs actually. And one of the main things that we can see here is there's actually major volume actually coming in, probably the most volume we've had all time on this project. So that's definitely going to help out the floor price a bit. Let's jump into something that we're seeing right now as we have the data right in front of us. So take a look at the amount of listings. I know we talk about demand a lot, which is one portion to the equation. The other portion of that equation is going to be supply. And supply and listings are going to be very correlated because, again, they're directly correlated to the supply, which is the second part of our equation. Yes, we want demand to come in, but we also want demand to come in on very tiny supply. So again, we do have the stagnant supply, which is 777, and we do know that that's solidified. That's not going to change. But what is going to change is the circulating supply, which is the amount of listings. And over time, within the last 30 minutes, notice what we've done with the amount of listings. So from, 10:30 to about 11:15, we went from 1,332 listings down to 1,150 listings. So we just had 200 listings drop off. Notice this number up here, our 1 hour cancels. 1 hour cancels is at 300. So what that's telling me is that there's some type of news catalyst event, or there's people or the holders that are looking to just get more out of the project. And again, if somebody could correct me on this, if anybody has any insight on this project itself, that would be awesome. But pretty much over time, all we've done is hold trend. We literally haven't broken that downward trend. Plus, we have the influx of volume coming in. Plus, we have the breakout of all-time highs, which is kind of just giving us the go ahead for more upside. And one of the main thing that solidifies that is, again, our amount of listings and the correlation with the volume coming in. Notice we have about a 10-15% drop in listings, and then we also have, in conjunction, the most volume we've had all time on this project. So that's giving us pretty much the double gold star to say, hey, we're ready to start actually running on this project. We have a few different perspectives lining up for the bulls to actually make their case for continuation to the upside. So up here, congratulations if you're actually in Kokoro. I don't know if I actually said that right. Kitaro, sorry about that. But yeah, we're actually getting to a zone where you're actually pushing into straight resistance. You can actually see our holders are, let's see, their listing nature. So listing nature here is going to show us when people are actually listing, what's the nature of that? Meaning the green portion is going to show us the first time that this project or this NFT has actually been listed. So ideally we do want to see a lot more greens popping in, because what that would mean is that we're getting ideally more owners coming into the project. The red one is going to be one that we're probably not going to want to see a lot unless we're looking for some type of dip buying opportunity. Reason being, if you start to see the red bars coming in, that's going to mean relisted down, meaning that there was a prior listing for that NFT that you're looking at, such as this one. And what we're indicating, or what we're reading, is that there's actually a listing. They pretty much just undercut themselves on their prior listing. So if you start to see lots of red bars coming in, it means people are pretty much undercutting themselves. And when people kind of have that same concept or that same idea across the board, it's pretty much a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you happen to start seeing those coming in and you start seeing listings reverse the other way, it's a pretty good indication that you're probably getting near that topping zone, that profit taking zone as well. So this is definitely something that you want to look at. I'm actually getting some pretty decent volume coming in. And let's actually look at the holders and see what they're actually looking at. So right here I changed the graph from listing nature to holders. And what that's going to indicate, it's going to give us a color-coded breakdown. The green portion is going to be people who own one particular token of the actual project itself. Yellow is going to indicate 2 to 4 tokens, meaning, again, people who own 2 to 4 NFTs. Blue and purple are going to indicate the 5 to 9 tokens, and the purple is going to indicate the 10 plus tokens. So what this does is pretty much gives us a breakdown on the sell walls and how thick they actually are. If we happen to see lots of people with 10 plus tokens or 5 to 9 plus tokens, this is probably going to be some thicker walls to get through, because again, at this point, we're indicating that these people have lots of tokens to de-risk. And ideally, it's a lot easier to push through a sale of 10 listings with people listing for the first time, as opposed to trying to get through 10 listings with the same person listing at that point. Because again, it's probably not only that person making that decision. If another fellow person with 10 plus tokens has that same idea and they're not getting filled, it's pretty much a race to the bottom for a seller if they're really trying to lock in those profits. So that's definitely something we're going to want to look at on the portion before we actually look at either entering the trade or looking for potential exits at that point. Let me see if there's any questions. No questions so far. If you guys have any questions, do not be afraid to drop them in the Educator chat. You guys can unmute your mics as well. We can answer those questions up as well. Actually getting some pretty decent volume going here. Some nice sweeps coming in. One of the things I do like, or that I'm looking at, is this MBCP. This 10%, I mean, I know it's kind of an older project, but 10% is pretty solid. I like pushing that to about 15. If you can get that up to about 15%, you can start holding that 0.4, start solidifying a new higher floor over time. This can be very interesting, especially you have the 50% owner supply ratio. One thing I do want to see go down is the amount of listings, which we're getting right now. We're getting the 1 hour cancels come in. That's why you're seeing all the highlights come in right here. Those are delistings. And we can see it with the listing chart as well. So what we're starting to see is potentially that reversal of listings. So like what we were talking about a bit earlier, if sales start to slow down and listings start to rise, let's think about it in that supply and demand equation. If our supply is increasing and our demand is decreasing, what should that do to price? We should start pulling back just a little bit. And this should make sense on the emotional spectrum as well, because think about if you got into Kataro down here and you had about 10, 15 tokens. If this just jumped 125%, it's probably likely that you're going to try to at least take some type of profits up here, or at least some people would if they're sitting here with multiple projects or multiple NFTs within this project. So let's actually see what we happen to get. I want to go deeper into a smaller time frame to see how this is actually playing out, to see if we get the continuation in volume or if we get the rejection sitting here. Do you have a question? Nope. All right. Again, If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to unmute your mics. You guys can drop the questions in the chat. But yeah. Yo, what up, Punchbowl? How's it going? Yeah, I hear you. That's what I was reaching out for as well. Anybody got it? Yeah, yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I hear you. And usually, what that has to do with is it's usually somebody knows something. It's usually price manipulation. But was this project released back here? Am I correct on that? That September 16th, around that point? Because pretty much what this is just an accumulation breakout, is what I'm looking at. And oh my God, my throat is shot. September 15th. Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking at that as well. Looks like they just accumulated for, what is this, damn near a month? Yeah, just about a month. And we actually, so they just like rebranded or something like that? Is that what I'm, right? Right. Yeah. Yeah, there must have, again, I don't know any fundamentals on the project itself, but right here, about 2 days ago, there had to be some type of announcement or something right here had to be announced, or somebody knew something and front ran that, and it kind of just kept running. Um, but I feel like there's some type of fundamental news happening like as we speak too, because this number keeps rising. Yeah, this 1 hour cancels keeps rising. And when that happens, it's usually telling us that if it's just single digit or double digit, that could be a coincidence that some people kind of just happen to list all at the same time or cancel their listings at the same time. But when you get into triple digit, that's usually a news catalyst, because it's very unlikely that uh, it's so coincidental that so many people happen to delist at one time. Um, so yeah, if anybody has any fundamental news on this project, we'd probably get a little better insight on what's actually happening. Um, Honestly, as long as listings stay going down and this number keeps rising right here, it should keep going up. I mean, you should see a potential dip coming in, but I mean, you have the most volume that you've had all time. So I think that's why you're kind of seeing this little FOMO push that's kind of continuing. Um, Nonchalant just said it's mooning because a lot of punts and base E holders were shilling them yesterday. Hmm, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, I feel like there has to be a little more than that because the delistings keep happening and this number is just rising exponentially. So I don't know. Hopefully, man. Hopefully we're on the right side of it. That's the game we're trying to play. Uh, um, 0.025. You'd have made a nice little bag there, my friend. Man, I can't blame you on that, man. I mean, like Kunjba was saying, it's very rare for projects to repivot and kind of do what they did. And especially to have notable holders sitting in here like that, that's pretty, yeah, it's funny. There's lots of BAYC people pumping it, but there's not that many in here. There's more cool cats than, you have more mutant apes than bored apes, but yeah, I can see that correlation actually. Oh, there you go. MBCP here is going to be 10.4%. Unique holders is going to be 14%. No, that's wrong. It's about 50%. Let's go back to the mint page so I get that correct for you. We should have that on here actually. Let me write that down. Unique holders right here, 44%. Yeah, I don't know why we don't have that on the view page actually. We should have that. Yes, you're talking like when we have pending transactions like this, like we have on the trending page up here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was telling the team that we should have like total transactions like sitting above here so that we know how many that are actually going on. Because I mean, sometimes people will be buying like the X2, Y2 listings, but then you'll have people on like OpenSea buying down here. But that, like you said, that could definitely change the sell walls that we're looking at too. Hmm. Yeah, but if you can, I think the key thing to like look at too with that is if we can get total transactions like being shown here, and then kind of have like, well, we do have sales going on right here. We could kind of fix that. But having, yeah, basically showing it over time and kind of how that's changing, like kind of having like a percent change. I think that would be pretty cool here too, because that would again give us another metric for the demand and giving us the demand within a certain time. So we can see like if there was like 100 sales within the last minute or something like that, and then we start seeing like 50 sales within the last minute, then we can start to see like, hey, that's starting to slow down a little bit. Like while our listings are going up, that could be a sign. But this thing is not stopping. Yeah, there you go. Um, uh, you could use RSI with something like this to see if it's like oversold or overbought. Um, I would suggest something like a MACD if you're trying to trade this on like a short-term swing. Like right here, this portion right here, this blue and orange crossing is the MACD, and pretty much what that's telling us is the momentum of the actual project. And we can see right here, we're just holding that trend line. And if we did see the volume increasing here, this was a potential dip buy once we started seeing the crossing of our MACD, because what that's telling us is that we have momentum pushing to the back to the upside. and that these are all pretty much dip buys. But we'll go a little more in. You're good. Well, I'm planning on kind of making specific, detailed, I guess, sessions for indicators themselves. So if you guys have questions on any of those, definitely let me know so I can put that on the sheet to go over. You want the good stuff? Yeah, it's fair. But yeah, this. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the. I think that's my favorite part of teaching this stuff is that there's no one right way to do it. You know, you can go so many different ways with it, and there's so many different tools that you can utilize. It's cool seeing different people's perspectives and stuff too. Um, this thing is not stopping. Again, as long as the Jesus, the portion where we'll start to see this price retract is where listings start to break this little trend line that we're on. As long as we stay going down here and our volume stays rising and our momentum stays positive, this thing's gonna keep running. Major thing again we want to see is this MBCP rise over time. If you can see that rise to like 12-15%, this could definitely be something that can have a longer term push to it. But as of right now, again, our demand's coming in, momentum's on our side, and supply's going down. So those are all green lights, just telling us that this thing's still ready to keep going. Yeah, that's the tough thing, man. It's like who was saying that earlier? Yesh was saying that he was trying to get it at 0.02. Was it 0.025 or something like that? I mean, could you just imagine if you pulled a few of those, and even had a rare or something like that? Be pretty nice in the money right now. But like you said, Anjable, it's on to the next one. There's usually another train sitting 15 minutes later, so it's just figuring out how these projects moved and again why they moved. I think if we can start to realize that and we start to see this happen over and over again, we can apply that to some of the projects that we're going to see coming out, and hopefully we can be on the right side of that. Definitely. I mean, that's something that you can't really teach, right? Is the experience, and as long as you're here for it and you can see, like, okay, what exactly happened and why did that happen, and what's kind of correlating to make it happen. If you could kind of reverse engineer it, you can apply that process to again other projects that you see pop up in the space. G to the O. I got 3. About 2 days ago. I'm gonna go back and see if I could find something on that. Mm-hmm. Engagement. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dang. Dang. G probably. Because you said they went from 0.01 to 0.075 or something. Yeah, but now look at everybody. Now everybody's willing to risk zero point 0.5 to make a bag. That's wild. G to the O. I got 3 at 0.025, sold at 0.15, 0.33, and zero point 0.4. Dang. Nice job, man. Congrats on that. G to the O. Did you have any fundamental news that you kind of went on this trade idea for? Or did you, what was kind of the idea behind that? If you don't mind me asking. Jesus. Yeah, good. Mm. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Right, right. Let me write that down. Like a basically like a hyperlink to them, right? Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. No, you're on the right track. We actually have something really interesting coming out. I think it's probably kind of in line with what you're saying. I don't know if it's this update or the following update that we're trying to implement something like that. Because I haven't tested it out yet. But what you're talking about right now, we have something really interesting coming out with that, where you're going to be getting a little more information on these particular people. Um, and yeah, that's going to be really fun to go over. The next update or the following update is going to be really solid if you guys stick around for that. Because yeah, we'll definitely be getting more statistics and more in-depth looks on who's holding the project. Because again, we realize like if somebody makes a bag off Kataro, we want to know where that bag is going to go next. You know, because that's definitely going to help us. I mean, what do we do in the beginning of these sessions? We follow the volume, right? And where's the volume coming from? Usually other flips, especially something like this coming from damn near a free mint to half an ETH. So yeah, we'll be going a lot more in depth into these. But that's a good suggestion. These things just don't stop. I think what I'm more impressed with right now is the amount of listings going down as opposed to price action going up. Um, be very careful. Yeah, be very careful with that. Because I mean, what are you pushing now? Amount of listings. How many are we at? About 12%. So we're sitting at like 14% prior to this. Really, what I want to see for continuation, I need this number to go up. Like I want that sitting at 11%, 11 and a half, 12. If that can go and you can hold like the last high, which was like, say we get the retrace back down here. So we potentially, again, hold this trend. Even if we pull all the way back to 0.23, it's still a potential dip buy. But it really depends, again, on what's happening with our listings. If our listings, if we pull back down to this side, let's say our listings start to rise, and then we start to get listings going back down and volume starting to rise, that's just telling us that's a dip buying opportunity. But what could also happen is if you actually get the pullback and again demand's not coming in, but then the listings just start to shoot back the other way and pretty much reverse, that's where you'll start to see that major either consolidation or accumulation phase kind of starting to happen. But right now this thing's just getting bought up and people again, look at our hour cancels. I think we're sitting at like 280 at the beginning when we were looking at this, and then it pushed to like 320. Now it's at 460. It's pretty showing that there's conviction for the holders to get a higher price point or just to hold on to their NFT. Plus, we're getting the volume that's coming in. I mean, look at all these transactions. That total transactions would be really smart up here. I'm realizing that. So we can know, like, hey, there's 8 transactions happening right now. That would be pretty cool. But man, G to the O, so close to aping back in. I saw them getting pretty decent volume at 0.02, then decided to buy one, but as I was buying one, AK called them out. So I decided to buy 3 instead. Nice. Good call, AK, if you're here. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we're coming up on the hour. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. Again, right here's the time to, if you guys have any suggestions, comments, concerns, here's the time to kind of drop those suggestions if you guys have any. We do try to go over these as a team and try to pretty much get everybody's feedback and try to implement what we think is most efficient and most beneficial for the people using the tool. And we try to hold sessions to get live feedback on that and kind of just do that whole machine over and over and over again. So again, if you guys have any comments, concerns, suggestions, please drop them here. Umer, how to manage our profits. I make money flipping, then I lose it again. That comes down to, I think, emotional constraints. Some people feel like they have to be in trades all the time. Others feel like they have to be a sniper with their trades. Ooh, go ahead. Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's smart. It's pretty much managing your profits is managing risk. So, like NFT, I mean, what Hunchable was saying, if you can mitigate the amount that you actually have, like where you literally can't trade it, that's definitely one way to help you out right there. Um, I'm not sure. I'm a very patient trader myself. I kind of learned that through losing lots of money. So it's kind of just comes down to a self-discipline, disciplinary type of action. And that's the beautiful thing about trading is like you can't really blame anybody but yourself. You know, you're the one pressing the signing the transaction. Nobody else is really doing that. But yeah, mitigating, I guess, that account size is probably one of the best ways to do that. Was there any more questions, comments, concerns that you guys have? Make sure you guys drop them here. We do have another session going on tomorrow at 7:15 Eastern PM. We will be doing probably a little more in-depth. I want to go over some of the TradingView indicators a little more tomorrow. So if it's a little slower day where we don't have anything live, we'll definitely be going over something like that. Yeah, just opening up the room. Glitch. Oh man, miss it today. Just join. Oh well. Yeah, no worries, brother. Tomorrow we'll be hosting another one as well. So if you can make that one, we'll be out there as well. And these should be recorded as well, so you should get the recording of this as well glitched. Slag. How do you find a? Yeah, give me one sec. Let me read Slag's question. How do you find a potentially good collection like Guitar and enter them really early and hold? Because every time I see 0.03 profit, I sell. Um, so in order to, I guess, check those projects early, one of the main things I would be looking at is this number right here, MBCP. And with early projects with like a free mint or like very small mint size, you're gonna see MBCP at like from 0 to about 2%. When you start getting over 2%, 3%, that's where you can start to see like, okay, hey, this might have the potential to get more blue chip holders in here. Um, that's one of the main strategies I utilize for longer term, good, quote unquote, good collections. Because again, the MBCP statistic is not really just a technical indicator, it's also a social indicator. Because again, think about all the people that are blue chip holders and think about all the people they follow on social media and all the people that they can reach. You have more, again, a higher probability of getting people with actual ETH to come into the project. Again, if there's some type of catalyst event or I guess some projects shilling the project, this number can start to rise over time, and you can start to see how that kind of affects price action over time as well. Like a great example was Goblins, for example. They went from 2% MBCP to pushing like 20% in about 3 days. And I believe Goblin was a free mint or a very cheap mint that turned into kind of a longer term swing. And one of the things that I was looking at was the MBCP. And yeah, that's going to be one of the main things that you're going to want to look at for early indications. That and drawing your trend lines for sure. Like, I mean, you've seen on Katara World, just look on a bigger time frame. If we just drew the boxed view, you can see that was just a technical breakout right there. That's all we had was a technical breakout on volume. We broke out of an all-time high on volume, and we haven't stopped. Slag, yeah, but were there bullish factors to Katara to grow like this, or just from degen? I'm not sure. I didn't play Katara. Supposedly it was getting shilled from CryptoPunks and Basie holders, and an accumulation with people delisting and volume coming in. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. But look at this right here. This is that trend line break of listings that we're talking about. So let's see what our actual demand is doing right now, meaning our volume. Kind of funny how that works out, huh? We're saying potentially you can see the pullback here if we start to see the break of the trend line of listings, because again, what's this directly correlated to? It's pretty much correlated to our supply. And look at our momentum chart down here. Average sales are going down. Average listings are going up. What should price action be doing right here? Or what has it done? Retraced again. And plus look at our momentum. We just snapped momentum break down here. Look at what happened with our price action in all correlation with our listings as well. So it's not really one kind of say all be all indicator. It's utilizing kind of all of them in conjunction with each other and seeing why it's working and why it's I guess correlating together. But yeah, I hope you can kind of see that. G to the O. The reason I held until 0.3.4 is because volume never hardly slowed down. I still would be holding 2, but they still, before I could delist them. Nice, nice, nice G to the O. That's a solid, solid plan. I like that. Congrats, man. Slag, thanks for your answers. Really helpful. Drop you a follow on Twitter. And I'll follow you back, brother. One last question. What app do you use to draw on the graph? Are you talking the stuff I'm drawing right now? Like this stuff? Or are you talking about the actual charting, like this portion here? If you're talking about the external, it's called Presentify. If you look that up on the App Store, it's called Presentify. I'll type it in the chat. It's like a purple logo or something like that. There you go. Yeah, I'm just a visual person, so I like having those visual aids, and I think that kind of helps you guys follow along as well. But we're kind of on the hour mark for today. I'm gonna start wrapping it up. So if you guys have any questions, definitely do not be afraid to either unmute your mic or type it out in the Educator chat. Again, just gonna do a quick rundown. Tomorrow we do have another session inside our Discord at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys can make that, we'll be going a little more in depth on the TradingView portion to get some more analysis on some indicators to kind of help us out. We do host these twice a week. We try to host them Mondays and Tuesdays. So if you guys can happen to make those out, that'd be awesome. We do have another giveaway today as well. I believe it's a $50 giveaway and might be some boosts. Have to confirm that. All you'd have to do is go into the Educator chat, just tag myself, Alpha Sharks, and one takeaway from the session. Again, could be bad, good, terrible, whatever you guys want. Any takeaway, we're kind of looking for feedback on the tool, the sessions themselves, just trying to get them better. So if you guys have any suggestions or any comments, definitely don't be afraid to tweet them out. That will be the giveaway entry today. We will be spinning the wheel to give out the winners' prizes. Okay, I'm just gonna drop that link in Educator chat, so you guys can tweet out to myself, Alpha Sharks, and maybe a takeaway. You guys will be entered for the giveaway this week, and for the $50 and the potential boost that we're giving out as well. Just want to see if there's any more questions. If not, we can wrap this thing up. Last call. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, guys. Really appreciate you guys coming down to these sessions. Again, I know you guys don't have to be here, and you guys spending that hour kind of just shows what type of people you guys are trying to be. So, again, if you guys can tweet out the myself, Alpha Sharks, and a takeaway, you guys will be entered inside that giveaway. And best of luck to you guys, and I appreciate you guys coming down. Hopefully you guys took something out of the session, and hope you guys have a solid rest of your day, and may your guys' bags be pumped. Yeah, no worries.